I will watch this. I didn't get a chance to look at it yesterday. Or actually, this was... Yeah, I guess it was yesterday. So Path of Exile has put out... Like, obviously, PoE2 is in early access. And today, they put out a really big post about PoE1 and an update on what's happening with PoE1. And you can see that's Zaro in the background. And, you know, here we go. Let's take a look at it. The dislike ratio... Yeah, a lot of people are unhappy with it. We'll talk about why afterwards. I haven't watched it myself. I just heard people talking about it, and I have a general idea of it.
Hey guys, let's talk about PoE1. Now, when we announced PoE2, we promised that we would continue to create PoE1 expansions, and we do intend to keep that promise. But it's certainly been a lot harder to deliver on it than what we expected.
Yeah.
Now, the trouble really started after Settlers of Calgar in July last year. The ideal time to have released 326 would have been late October, before the originally scheduled release of PoE2's early access. But we just didn't think we could do it. It was too close to the huge circus that was the organization around PoE2's launch. But we also didn't want to immediately launch it right after PoE2 either, so that kind of ruled out December. So then we're thinking, okay, we can't really have a launch in January due to Christmas, so we're really going to have to do it in February.
Yeah.
And this wasn't great. It would mean 7 months with no leagues. But we really didn't think it was possible to do it any earlier than that. And we didn't really announce this exactly, but it was certainly something that we had said to quite a few people over time, so the community became generally aware that that was our plan. The issue is this. PoE2's endgame needed a lot of work. Having the guys on the PoE1 team help out for 3 months on PoE2, given that 326 was 7 months away, seemed like a no-brainer, and man did PoE2 need it. The problem is we got to the middle of October, and PoE2's launch was imminent, and I'll tell you what. Taking people off PoE2 at that point was just impossible. The endgame was not in a shippable state. But you know what? We could still do it. If the PoE1 team just kept helping until PoE2 shipped in late November, we could still do it. Maybe the scope would need to decrease a little bit, but mid-February was still possible. We just needed to ship this damn game first, get it out of the way. We literally couldn't think about anything else until it was done.
Well, that makes sense.
But we still had time.
Because they had to delay it a bunch of times, too.
The problem is, we were fooling ourselves. PoE2 was delayed 3 weeks, making the problem even worse. And then after the game was released, well, of course, we had to immediately deal with all the problems. How could we think about making a PoE1 expansion? We still have hundreds of thousands of people who are having bad experiences in PoE2. There are crashes, there are severe in-game balance problems. How could I justify taking some of the most experienced developers we have off PoE2 when it's on fire? Now, after the Christmas break, we had to really admit something to ourselves.
Okay.
The most urgent priority was getting PoE2 to a point where it didn't have major issues. And it's hard to even think about what PoE1 needs when PoE2 has really obvious problems that need fixing. We needed to get it to the point of stability and balance, and to fix the most severe deficiencies that PoE2 has before we can take our eyes off it. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we can't really work on PoE1 326 until PoE2 0.2.0 has shipped.
Okay.
And then being honest, we probably need to support that for a couple of weeks after that as well.
Yeah.
Now, in the meantime, we are going to get a bunch of pre-production done on 326 with whatever people who are not needed to fix issues with PoE2. And once 0.2.0 is sorted, I promise we will devote as many resources as are needed from our company to get 326 done as soon as possible.
I think it's important for them to keep doing PoE1 because there's a lot of people that are invested in the game and they like that type of gameplay more. And you don't want to abandon those players.
Unfortunately, I just can't promise a date right now. Now, I'm really sorry for how this went down. Honestly, I should have predicted the fact that taking the PoE1 team off PoE1 would lead to this outcome. And I probably should have resisted doing it. But at every stage, I just kept thinking, we still have time, we still have time. And then we didn't have time anymore. Now, we still have a lot to learn about how to run 2 games simultaneously. We were overconfident. We still need to work out how to structure our studio to make this possible. But we do have a solid plan for what we want to do with 326. Obviously, I can't talk about it yet, but I'm hoping you guys are going to love it. I really want to thank you guys for all your support over the years. You guys do deserve better than this, and we will get 326 out as fast as we can.
Well, I feel like it's disappointing but understandable. That's kind of the way that I see it. Yeah, like, I think that they're making a good decision, but at the same time, I can see why people would be disappointed in the decision. Transparency is key. Yeah, and so if people are unhappy about this, I think that it's totally fair to be unhappy about it. Completely fair to be unhappy. Transparent and honest. Yeah, exactly. It's the correct decision. I think it's the correct decision as well. And I think also, like, there are instances, like, Grinding Gear Games is a relatively small studio, and they've only really shipped one game entirely, which is PoE2, ever since they really fully came into their own, because PoE1 was kind of just like something that was ongoing. And so a lot of people like PoE2. Well, let's see how well PoE2 is doing with Steam. It still has over 160,000 people playing. I think that's really, really, really fucking good. That is insanely fucking good. And this is also, again, this game is going to be free when it finally releases, and it still has the $30 price tag attached to it. So they can't slow down all the hype that's behind PoE2. Therein must be on the consumer. Yeah, no doubt. Check top 10 for Steam charts. Yeah, it's right up there. It's the number 5 game. It's below Marvel Rivals, Dota, and CSGO, but other than that, it's pretty much right up there. And so PoE1 has 8K people. Yeah, and so it's undoubtedly going to be true that PoE1 will have like a surge of people that'll be excited to play it again, because I think PoE1 has a type of gameplay that PoE2 doesn't quite have, that people like, you know, like the super zoom and like kill everything super fast like gameplay. And I'm just saying, what's PoE's player base right now? I'll pull it up and that way we can look at it. And so right now it has 7,000 people playing, and its all-time peak was 229,000 people, and this was with Settlers of Calgary, right? And so that's basically what I think has happened. Do you think it's interesting the PoE2 developer said they're figuring out how to run 2 versions of the game at the same time when Blizzard's literally running 5 versions of World of Warcraft at the same time? Yeah, I do, but the difference is that like all of the versions of WoW, except for one version, I guess maybe Season of Discovery now, are not receiving like planned, like, you know, planning for updates. It's like, you know, there's like a classic version, classic hardcore. Like this is basically just the same game that's being rehashed. And also, like, let's address the elephant in the room. Blizzard is the elephant. They're massive. They have a huge, like a huge amount of people working for them. They have way more experience. They have way more resources. I mean, come on, let's be real. It's not even close. So Microsoft money, I mean, these Grinding Gear Games has Tencent money too. It's not like they're nobodies, but at the same time, I think that they are making the right decision, even though I think this decision is probably disappointing for some people that are players of PoE1 and that were looking forward to it. What do you guys think? 7K people because they finished the season? Yeah, it has 7K people right now because the season has been dead. Like, it's basically like you're comparing something at like, I don't know, like you're comparing a streamer at their outro screen versus like, you know, 2 hours into their stream. They're going to have more viewers at 2 hours in rather than their outro stream, right? And so that's it. Also non-Steam users. Yeah, and also PoE1 has a lot of non-Steam users because obviously PoE1 has more people that are doing it directly through the launcher, which is what I always did, you know, for example. And also them just straight up saying like, yeah, we thought it wasn't going to be this much effort. It was. I think that's totally fucking fair, man. That's totally fair. And I think at this point, I just hope that they're able to, like overcome that. Yeah, I don't really care. I think it's really weird that PoE1 players are catastrophizing this. Well, they're expressing their frustration because they're fans of the game and they're not getting the content they want. I think that's really fair. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Like, yeah, that's it. I mean, the PoE2 is the upgrade. I think it's the upgrade too. I think PoE2 is way better. But that doesn't mean that some people can't like PoE1. So it's not really a bad thing or anything like that to do it.